How's it going, everyone? This is Rosalind, and today we're going to be doing the extra stages for the Wandering Rain story event, the one about Crimson and Rain. And this is the party I'm going to be using for the video. And I will mention that if you were watching my live stream, then you will notice that I have made a couple changes to the party, but we'll go over those as we go through the party itself. You also see I'm not using a friend. This is just because it's not needed. But anyways, I'm using a magic tank in Bosch, and one of the main things here is you want to have fire, ice, lightning, and dark resistance. Now none of these are like all set so that he takes no magic damage, but just kind of there as like a baseline. You kind of want to get 100 in each of them to be safe. You also want to have a pretty decent HP pool and spirit, because you will be taking a number of attacks that are non-elemental magic damage, and they can deal a significant amount of damage. I've actually had my boss die quite a few times in the third fight, so it can happen. This is how I have him set up. Also, just a quick note, all my characters are immune to all status ailments. My main damage dealer is going to be Mardia, and this is how I have her set up. I am using Squall Super Trust Mastery, but you can just use the 4 stars Trust Mastery if you want to. It's also just not even that necessary. I'm just using it to speed up the fight by a couple turns in the third fight. This is her setup. One of the main reasons I'm using a magic user, other than the fact that they're just fantastic for this entire extra stages, is this ability right here, because it gives extra damage to demons and undead, and the second boss is undead and the third boss is a demon. This is how she's good. And now we have Bart. Bart is set up for 100% dodge. He will be a provoke tank. Now the provoke tank here is not necessary at all. The very first time I did this, I didn't have a single target provoke tank at all, and I was able to clear it just fine. This is mainly for smoothing out the damage intake that my party takes. Also, I have Bart for his single target, or not, see, his AoE attack magic down ability. This is actually fantastic, but it's really only good in the third fight. The first 2 fights you can't actually lower the enemy's attacker's magic. And this is how I have Folka set up. Pretty standard limit break building setup. I've also given her some fire resistance. This is specifically for phase 2, but fight 2, because you get a preemptive attack against you that deals a bunch of damage. Part of it's fire. It's just to help to lower that incoming damage. And then I have Aiko. Aiko, again, I have her set up, get a little bit of fire resistance, but she is set up for Esper damage. This is specifically to help with the 2 different Esper missions within the encounter. The first one being you have to finish the fight with an Esper, and then the third fight you have to use 2 Espers. I have her set up for damage to make finishing with an Esper easier, and I'll explain why this might be necessary when we actually get into the encounter. Okay, so now we're in the encounter. So like I was saying, one of the main reasons you want to have a way to increase your Esper damage is because this boss is incredibly hard to kill with chain attacks. You can bring physical attackers, but he takes very little damage from physical, and he has a property here where he, switches the element he's weak against throughout the fight. So you can't really ever tell which element you're going to be used, which makes using like tornado chains kind of difficult. I've actually never seen him go minus wind weakness, so he may not even do it. But innately, he takes very little damage from physical attacks, and he has a 200% resistance to every single element, but that buff allows you, or that debuff he places on himself every so often, allows you to actually deal damage to him. So magic users are fantastic for this. However, you can get all around that by using non-elemental magic damage, which is what I will be doing. And this is one of the fights, is the reason why I gave Bosch so many elemental resistances, because he's going to be able to absorb a lot of it. And we're just going to go ahead and provoke here to take the single target physical attacks that come in, and this fight will be fairly easy, just a repetition fight. That's all it is. But we will be building up the Esper gauge with Aiko. In a few parts in the fight, this thing will put AoE elemental resistance down on your parties because you already have ice and lightning. Ice, lightning, and fire. It's really not that big of a deal. You still take very little damage. We'll go ahead and lower. I believe you can lower its spirit. Let me just double check this. Yes, you can lower its spirit. So that'll help speed up the fight. And we're just going to get to stacking up Rocket Punch. Alright, it gives Graviton Punch. And this will make quick work of the boss. Since I've already cleared this, I'm not going to do... Or I'm not going to be too upset if I don't get the Esper kill timed properly. But it can be a little bit annoying. It would actually be very easy if you brought like 2 LEs. But even 2 LEs might not be. 2 Mardia is probably the best because she can chain elemental or non-elemental damage. So if you could bring like Euro Mardia and a friend Mardia. You don't have to use Mardia, by the way. I am using Mardia, but I initially did all of this with Mediana as my main attacker. So, if for some reason, well, not really for some reason, if you don't have Mardia, don't worry. Other attackers will work just fine. Now, just to show off kind of how this works, as you can see, the boss has switched up its elemental debuff on itself from lightning to fire at some point. You can check it, like it tells you when he does it at the top of the screen. I really haven't been paying attention since I'm not using elemental damage. But if you do bring a caster that can only hit with elemental damage, just, you know, be sure to look at that to make sure you're getting it. Also looks like Spirit debuff fell off, so let's go ahead and renew that. But yeah, like I was saying, if you're going to be using elemental damage, just make sure you check which one it is currently weak against at the time. Guess I should be getting close to watching about the Esper. At least try to get it. Yeah, let's do one here just to check how much it goes down. Okay, so 6%. That means I can do one more turn at 6%, and then I go for the Esper kill. Okay, so it looks like now the boss has switched itself to being weak against ice, so that doesn't help us in the Esper department. Because of this, I'm going to be using Mega Flare, but with Bahamut. But ideally, you would use lightning damage if it was weak to lightning, just to make it easier for timing purposes. Let's see if I can get this timing right. Oh, it's not going to even kill it. Oh, maybe it did. Oh, that may have been timed right. I don't know. But either way, that's how you would do it. Alright, and now we're into the second fight here. Like I said, it's going to do a bunch of preemptive attacks against us. Right, and that's the reason why I increased fire damage on some of my units, to help lower that damage here. Now, the thing with this boss here, I believe it is weak to... I know it has 100% increased resistance to dark and light, and I think it has increased resistance against something else. I forget exactly. But it absorbs fire damage. So, because it absorbs fire damage, you don't want to deal fire damage to it. However, as a preemptive attack, this will work. Go on, select the unit. It imbues your party with fire. This is one of the reasons that, one of the other reasons, besides the first fight not taking really any physical damage at all, this is one of the other reasons why magic damage is so good for this fight. Or for this particular event. But again, we're going to put up magic resistance here, and we are going to provoke. And we're going to start setting up again with Madia. It's this fight in particular why I decided to bring a Provoker, just to smooth out damage, because this thing can hit pretty hard, and he did kill off a couple of my party members on the few kills that I did of this where I wasn't using a Provoke tank. So I believe you can also debuff his Spirit. Yeah, I think he's Spirit and Defense that you can debuff. For our purposes, we just need Spirit. I should also mention he counters as well. So whenever you attack him with magic damage or whenever you attack him with physical damage, he will counter. So he counters physical damage with physical, and he counters magic damage with magic. Shouldn't be too big of an issue, but, you know, just keep in mind that that does happen. Should only be one more turn now. Yep. And on to the next fight. Okay, here we are at the third fight. As a preemptive attack, this guy just summons two weaker versions of itself and then does some damage to you. It's not that big of a deal. Now this is the reason I switched to Maria. So originally I was using, like I said, Mediana, and I would bring somebody else who could chain Tornado with her. In this case, I was using Bart at one point. I did a kill with Bart, I did a kill with Renoa, and that worked out great because you only have 15 turns for the mission. But you want to be able to, take these guys out as quickly as possible because this damage can be high. Even with the 7-star party, I've had people die in this multiple times. So I found out that Maria is great for doing this very quickly. What we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and do a magic cover. And the reason why this fight is so dangerous here is because while these two things are up, occasionally you will get AoE dispelled. And that sucks. Pretty bad. And the dispel happens before any of their damage comes in. So, I mean, if it's too big of a deal, you can use the manufactured Nethicite to take care of it. But I don't know what turn it comes in on, so yeah. But here's why Bart is so good if you have him. Not necessary, but this is why he's so good. These things can be... It looks like it only hit one of them, but these things can be blinded. They're also all weak to magic, and you want to make sure you reduce their magic before you do anything. And we're just going to go ahead and get some big damage out with her Limit Break. This should take a big chunk out of the ads. Yeah, so almost 50% of their HP. This may kill Bart, or Bosch. Okay, Bosch survived. That's good. So now we can go ahead and start provoking again. Bosch can just continue doing his thing. Maria is going to actually use her cooldown ability. And from now on, we're going to make sure that Eiko is always putting up a shield on Bosch just to help keep him alive. And we're going to go back into our usual routine with Volca. Now we should be good. The turn that Dispel comes in can be a little iffy, but I think we're going to be fine. Okay, and now with Maria, this is the other reason why she's so good, is she has this nice little AoE ability that deals a ton of damage. It's a chain ability, so if you have two Marias, then you could probably do this in two. You take these out by this turn. For me, it's going to take another extra turn or so. But you see that brought them down all the way to 28%, so this one's 31, but they're pretty low already. I'm just going to make sure I swap between his stuff just to keep them debuffed. And it looks like next turn we can finish them with her Limit Break. Oh, and also, as you can see there, there is a MP drain. I'm not sure if that MP drain is only single target or not, but if you have a provoker up, it'll only drain that one person's MP. And it looks like we're going to avoid getting dispelled here, because we were able to take out the ads before they ever got around to using their dispel. And now this is super simple. It's just a matter of doing what we did for the first the first two encounters. Let's go ahead and speed this up. Lower its elemental resistance even more. Or not elemental resistance, it's spirit. Great, and those are the extra stages for the Wandering Rain story event. So, hope this helped, and as usual, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section below. And, if you're up for it, come hang out live on Twitch. I stream every single day. Lately, I've been doing a lot of FFBE, but I will also be playing other games as well. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.